That's
Yeah.
the boy. I feel like most of you guys have already seen him, but
He's
he has
so
to be
cute.
included in the clip. Yeah, my one of my friends actually crocheted him actually.
Oh,
So
so
That is dope.
I try to bring him everywhere with me. Most people will recognize him being on my backpack everywhere that I go. Um, and most of you guys will know me from cosplay photography, but I've been branching out doing a lot of different events, parties, nightclub events, fashion week events, things like that. But cosplay has been the biggest thing. Big attachment to the anime gaming community, so that's the one that I try to keep my roots in.
That's so lit. Yeah. All right, let's bring everybody else in. Welcome everybody to the Be More Nerdy podcast. I'm your host Galaxy Greg, aka the OG Galaxy, aka Mr. Space Waits, aka the Hentai Honcho. With us today we have our guest Nate, who just introduced himself, and also we have our co-host Diva XOXO,
what it is, little dummies. My voice is straining, so no AKAs for me this week.
and then we
Wow,
have
we
our other co-host HD TV.
we should make her voice strain more. Yeah, those intros be long. But yeah, it's HD here, man. I'm just keep it short, as some of us tend to do.
What you trying to say? You trying to call me short? Did you call me a nigga? No, I'm just kidding. But today we're going over. Today is
I heard.
episode 134. We're going over plot twist. But with us today is Nate, and he is a photographer, and we're gonna get into it as Nate is pretty well known in the anime community, taking pictures of cosplayers, runway shows, and everything and the like. So Nate, are you ready for your interview, man?
Yeah, lay it on me. I'm all here for you, brothers.
Awesome. You brought on the guest, so I think it's only right that you take the first question.
All right, so Nate,
Ladies
I've
first.
met you. That's how you feel. All right, I thought we were normally on the same side, but guess we're opposition today. That's fine. You could be my number one up. Um, so Nate, I met you at Anime Frontier here in Fort Worth, Texas, and I loved your energy. I'm so glad that I went to that after party and bumped into you because him and his red Genji were the highlight of my weekend. I was really appreciative that you just let me tag along and just watch you work. And I know you got started recently, but how about you let the people know who aren't familiar with you, like what got you into photography?
So sorry, I appreciate you saying that. It means a lot to know like it had that big an impact on you because like that's what the anime community did for me. So that's why I try to like pay it forward. It leads into like how I started in photography. I've always been attached to the anime community just because of I feel like we all kind of have that area of like wanting to connect with something, like have like a community that feels like welcome. And the anime community has always been oh, if you have this interest, you share it with somebody, you get to go to the convention. You can tell if somebody's dressed as your favorite character is, Asta from Black Clover, or see a Sora from Kingdom Hearts. You can geek out with that person. You're like, oh wow, you can just start singing the theme song, and that person gets just as excited. And it's a
Yeah.
moment that they might not get to share with anybody else in their normal life. So it's like a very special moment. And with photography for me, I get to go around and not only have those experiences, but then capture them and give people the memory. So after these conventions are over, they get to go back and they're like, oh yeah, oh, that was Nate, the guy with that red teddy bear. And then they see the pictures and they're like, oh wow, that's me. I'm like, hell yeah, that's you. That's how I saw you in that moment, and that's how other people see you, helping other people feel seen the way they deserve. Doesn't hurt me at all.
I gotta say, Nate's already one of my favorite people for mentioning those two characters in specific. Man, those are two of my favorite off the bat. I love it.
Sometimes, man.
Hell yeah. So my first question for you then is, so going off of that, what are some of the shows that you like to watch? Like, what got you into the anime community in specific? Because most anime fans don't even really know about conventions until they're a little bit of the ways in, or that's like maybe their first that their big anime friend takes them to. So what like got you started
Right.
going to conventions, and what are some animes that you like to watch?
So I want to say my first convention was probably like Comic Con in 2016. That was like a kind of like a random jump in the middle event, and throwing it back. Funny enough, I was looking at my old tickets. I think they were like $80 basically for the whole weekend. Like really throwing back how crazy the
Back
price
in the
differences
day.
were then. So yeah, it's a big difference now. And it was just one of my friends said that he always wanted to go. We've both been like big Dragon Ball Z, like big Toonami fans. I'm a big Yu Yu Hakusho fan. So like he said he wanted to dress up as what's it, Kuwabara, and I was like, all right, that perfect. Like I'd love to see other people. I wasn't even like big enough photography at the point, but it was just something to connect with other people. and I couldn't believe how many people I saw out there, how the crazy cosplays, just how intricate everything got. And I took so many videos, so many pictures. I had such a good time. So then I took a little bit of a break off of it for a while, but I always kept up with, all the newest animes. Started being more on top of, watching things daily instead of, how I was growing up, just whatever was on TV at the time.
Tsunami,
Um,
man.
literally tsunami. You start reading more, started reading like mangas and manhwas, solo leveling, read through that way before the animes, got super addicted to it.
Yes,
And
sir.
then you start wanting to connect with other people, you want to like be in a community more. And funny enough, photography was something that 2 months before Comic Con of, I think it was 2023, I had met somebody who was also into photography, and I mentioned to them that I was going to Comic Con. So they said, "Oh, why don't you, take my camera?" Since they saw me playing around with it, I took it, wound up making some memories with people, and look at us now.
It's so
Wow.
lit.
Yeah,
Diva.
going up ever since.
So you get to go, like, you go to a lot of cons. Which one's your favorite? Because I will be honest, I don't like cons. Like, this is not for me. But what's your favorite
Totally
con?
understand. And I completely get that because cons are a very social like atmosphere. It can be extremely overstimulating for a lot of people. Like there's a lot of my friends that I go with, and as much as for some people, yeah, they love being surrounded by a lot of people and being in that like big, crowded vibe. I mean, that's also why people don't go to bars. So it's like it can be like a lot. Katsucon personally for me by far was the best con I've been to, but
Okay.
I say it's a little unfair to judge it that way because it's a combination of all the different cons I went to.
Mhm.
It was something that I was going to just to take pictures, hang out with friends, and I wound up running into friends from Texas, from Vegas, from Connecticut, from all over, multiple cons that I hadn't expected to be there. So it was almost like going to the cookout. And then it's all your cousins you didn't expect to be there, and then your friends from down the block were also there, and then your friends
Oh.
from school just showed up randomly. So I'm like, damn, I don't care what was happening as
Yeah.
long as all those people were there.
Yeah.
Um, it was an experience that brought a lot of people together. But honestly, whatever's the closest con that you people can get to is what I recommend is like, the comfort thing. I don't think people should like go out and try to fly to their first cons. Like, you hear about fan expos and anime expo, Comic Con New York. Yeah, they're big, but you don't want to spend thousands of dollars and you don't know if you're really going to enjoy it. Start with a
Facts.
small con, make some friends, get a close bond, and then decide, all right, let's all get an Airbnb together. Let's go meet up. And it's so much of an easier process than like the anxiety of, damn, I got to fly all the way across the country. I got to get a hotel. I got to get a car. Then I got to show up to this place. I'm not going to know anybody. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and them con hotels, they be taxing, baby.
They're
Yeah, no,
expensive.
feel bad. I almost never stay in the con hotels, and then that's a whole nother issue. You stand far away, and if you're not familiar, you could be a shady hotel somewhere. Like, it's a lot to deal with. Like some people, I get it. I really had to start getting comfortable with it myself. So like, I definitely don't blame anybody for being a little hesitant.
Yeah.
Facts. Back to you,
Yeah.
Heath.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just had to pause for the fact that you have said things that both of them love very much. You've said his favorite characters and her favorite show. I'm just like, yeah. And then, okay, getting back into it. So I know a lot of people growing up, especially when I was in undergrad, that pick up a camera and be like, oh yeah, they're a photographer, and they think it's that easy. And from what I've had with the few conversations I've had with you, I know it's not that easy at all. So my question is like, how is it trying to juggle your day to day with the photography work that you're handling?
It's a little difficult, I'll be fair, because it's why I don't like really like push myself and like tell people, oh, like yes, I am a photographer, it's what I do, but like a lot of people might not know or forget. Like I'm a therapist outside of photography, so that takes up a lot of my time, and I try not to
Bless
let it
your
be
heart.
like. Thank you. I try not to like let like the photography like interfere with like because I work with children primarily, and I like to make sure I'm giving myself enough time to give them time to like get my work done without over flooding myself with going to an event every weekend, like constantly drowning myself in edits and things like that. And with photography, it's the kind of thing that I'm not gonna lie, like you have to grind. It is something. It's a like any other profession in the world where it's like you got to hustle, like you're selling yourself out there, and I feel bad when people try to judge a photographer for charging, let's say, like I don't know, like $200, $300 an hour for a shoot, but it's like in reality, that's them paying their rent, like that, like that, 2 or 3 shoots for the week could be quite literally what's keeping the lights on, like what's putting food in somebody's, baby's belly or something. So, it's a hustle. People don't realize, like, they just think, oh, people are showing up and they make thousands of dollars every day. I was like, no, like they don't. Photographers go months
Facts.
without getting paid sometimes. That's real.
As someone who's
Real shit.
currently planning a wedding and looking at photographer prices, I'm never mad when I see it. I'm just like, I can't afford you. I'm the broke one. You're doing it right.
Mm.
I'm broke.
No, yeah, it's rough. I get it because it's
Yeah.
like honestly, I also understand like when you're trying to do something like starting like you're building like a new chapter of your life, and there's so many other things you got to invest in. You don't want to break the bank on something that rightfully I feel like you should have. You should have memories. You should it shouldn't feel like this insurmountable thing like a luxury car. But at the same point, I do get it. There's the pressure associated with it. There's people who say, all right, you're paying to make sure I'm not going to make a mistake, like I'm going to be on top of it. So there's a give and take. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
Yeah.
fair. Look, I just want to add in. These guys keep telling me I need therapy, specifically Diva. She's wrong, of course, but respect to the therapist, man. Respect to the therapist. We need them.
Thank you. I tell everybody, it's like, we all just need somebody to talk to, whether it's a best friend or it's somebody who gets paid for, listen to you. Some of us are fortunate enough, we have somebody in our life that will listen to their problems and help them work through it. And if you are somebody who might not have somebody who wants to listen, then, that's what somebody like myself is for.
Facts. See, I just got those two on Tuesdays around this time, maybe like an hour before the show. But no.
See, you lucky. Maybe they got to start charging or something,
He's
Like,
not
y'all missing
lying,
out.
though. He's not lying. This is the first time we've started the pod on time in who knows how long because Greg has to trauma dump. I'm calling it a trauma dump on us before.
Trauma? I ain't got no trauma. I'm just like that. But moving forward, what are some photography pet peeves that you have? Like maybe when you go to cons or when you go to shoots where it's like, you're getting on my nerves. But I'm not gonna say it, but people, can be annoying. So like, what are some pet peeves you have when you do some of your shoots?
It's a hard one for me. I'm I'm generally such like a late. It takes a lot for somebody to like really like get to me, and like generally there's very little somebody could do. I don't think I've ever really had a time where I thought, oh, somebody was being annoying or because I feel bad. I generally am the type of person, as a therapist, people like to dump and they feel like,
Yeah.
open talking with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I can understand how other people see it as annoying, but then I'm like, oh, I look at the person like maybe they just needed somebody to talk to. And it doesn't hurt me if they, feel better about it. Like it genuinely, like you could talk to me for an hour in my ear. It's not hurting me, But I've been there in situations where people will like take up a lot of time. I know that's, some photographers will get annoyed about that. And my thing is like, hey, if I feel like you're taking up a lot of time, I'm gonna tell you. Like, if you wind up taking up an hour because we're talking, that's my fault for letting you talk for an hour. Ultimately, I'm not gonna blame you for that. Like,
Right.
clearly you have something to say, and I didn't tell you to shut up. So that's that.
Fair.
There.
I try not to blame people for things that I can avoid.
Right.
I'm like, hey, clearly, if I can
Right.
do something about it, I ain't gonna blame you for it.
Yeah.
But that sense of understanding, like a lot of people don't have that. And it's a perspective that you might have to educate some, but some is like, people that like are genuinely just touching and connecting with other people's emotions. They're like, yeah, I get it. Like I had to explain to Greg once, and I'm not using you as a bad
I
example.
was
Greg.
about to say at me next time, dog.
I'm not about to use you as a bad example. But when I first did like my first major cosplay, and then like everybody was trying to take pictures all the time, and he was like, I don't know how you do it. Like I would start telling people no at some point. I was like, yeah, I might be tired and annoyed by it, but like I understand it. Like, what if that person didn't talk to anyone all day? Like they were so anxious and nervous and scared, and then I was the first one that came up to, and I was just like, nah, get away. Now I just
Mhm.
made them feel a certain way. It's like if I could just say yes and avoid that, why not?
I can give you actually a good example about that, which is unfortunate. I deal with a lot of like kind of like bigger name cosplayers. There's a guy that I like. I'm very close friends with a lot of these people, and one day I saw a guy. I was toward the end of one of a con, and it was one of my mutual friends. I watched this interaction happen, and I know exactly why it went the way it did. It was because this cosplayer went the whole day being like, forced from shoot to shoot, didn't get a chance to, meet up with their friends, was constantly being rushed around. So
So
when they saw my friend who been looking forward to running into this person the whole weekend, never got the chance to see them. It's like, oh, there he goes. When my friend asked for a picture, he's like, all right, yeah, sure. I'm just like running out. Can we make it quick? And my friend remembers that as, oh wow, like this is somebody I was looking forward to meeting, and he just rushed me along. And I personally know the guy. I know he's not like an asshole or anything,
Right.
but I also know it's just like the end of the day, and it's like work. If it's like 4:59 and you're supposed to get out of there at 5, you've been working all day, you're like, all right, man, come on, like I gotta go, kind of thing. Like you're not trying to be mean, but we're all human.
Right.
Nah, big facts. I was also hungry as shit. We were on our way to find food. We didn't even know what we were getting to eat. So I'm like, yo, can we go? I'm hungry, bro.
I get it. I've seen it. I've talked to people afterwards and like, yo, I feel bad. I was just in a rush. I'm like, it sucks because little things, just snowball. Hey?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's nothing you can do about it in cases like those, though. So, like, just as fans, just try to be understanding of your favorite cosplayer, creator, whatever. Like, hey, they've been real busy. If they didn't have time, if they were kind enough to at least respond, take that, please.
Yeah.
Big facts.
I remember, it's a lot. Like they work all day. Some of these guys, they be up until 3 in the morning working on their cosplays, and then the whole
That's my
day.
thing. Like, and so I don't like to ask cosplayers for pictures like with me or anything. Like if they are stopped, I will like, can I get a quick one? But because I'm like when he did his, I was like, what time did you get up, Pete? He's like, I've been up early. Like he had nails on. I do my own nails. I know how hard it is to put nails on. And like he was like, I've never done this before. I'm just figuring it out. I was like, no, like they work. Even people who like he isn't a professional yet. Speaking into existence.
Yeah, there you go.
But like, but like, people who are just like doing it just because they want to, they put a lot of time into it. So like, I would never be mad if someone was like, just me personally, be like, no, I'm sorry. I'd be like, I understand. Like, you're probably tired. You want to get back to your room and take a nap.
Literally. I've seen most of those people have the giant elaborate armor sets. Just them. Think about how for us it's hard enough to travel like the day of the convention, got to get the hotel room, all that stuff. These people have to check in 3 extra bags of luggage on a plane, then they have to arrive at the hotel a day early because they have to start putting their armor on at 5 in the morning, and they have to have somebody else with them to glue these little pieces or spray paint their face and or bandage their body up because they decided Orochimaru is going to be the cool thing this year, and it's the instant regret once they're 30 minutes into it, but they're like, well, I already told everybody I'm going to dress as this, so now it's 9, 10, 12 hours. God forbid you're doing an after party too,
That's why I'm like having some reservations on doing Kaiju number 8, because I was like, I'm going to get the whole black suit underneath, just wear some underclothes, and then basically like he was telling me I could use foam the whole way. I'm like, I could do it. I really could. I have the autistic ability to do such a thing, right? However, I sweat a lot. I sweat a lot, like easily. So I'm like, yo, I'm gonna be in Texas. I'm gonna be out all day. Do I really want to do that to myself? So,
one of my friends does Catgirl, and she lets me know, like, absolutely, you will be sweating in those latex and the leather, and like, it doesn't matter the material when it's wrapped around you like that. It's just gonna happen.
Yeah, it's just gonna happen. So, I gotta ask my favorite toxic question. What was your least favorite con? Like, what con was you're like, I'm never going back. I don't care what you guys, who's going to be there. I don't care if the homies are like, we pulling up to this one just for fun. You're like, I'm out. I'm not going. It's not for me.
Ooh, that's a bad one. You're trying to get me banned from the con. They got to see this and be like, excuse me. Like,
remember, he's an ambassador at some of these cons,
I got to pick one that I actually paid to go to, right?
Yeah, that's how you do it.
Yeah, like that's why. Like, I pay to go.
Anyone you paid to go to. Great answer.
I'll change my answer once y'all start paying me or make it free.
Yeah, like I'm gonna keep it blank. Like the ones who I apply for a press badge and they make me still pay to still advertise them.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, that's it. That's a great answer. That's the best answer. Pay this man.
They know. Yeah. It's like, what can you do? I do have a lot of love for the ones like Anime Frontier, like they're the ones who really gave me like my first shout out with everything. I had like less than 1,000 followers at the time, and I just applied thinking like, okay, let's see what happens. And because they gave me the shot, it was my first time going on a plane by myself, the first time going to Texas, first time Anime Frontier. I was just like, let's get it. It's a trip. We'll see what happens.
Guys, we have a shot.
You never know. Honestly, you just go for it. Like I
Yeah,
tell everybody, you never know. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
that's
dope.
probably Greg's next question, honestly.
What?
Um,
Actually, it isn't.
about
Mine is the horny question.
Oh
uh,
gosh.
my curiosity, because I found it interesting that like after I connect with you, and I went
Mhm.
back through Instagram, almost all of the cosplayers I follow, you have photographer or pictures of. So I was just like, oh, okay, all right. But out of curiosity, like, do you see yourself like maybe like expanding in the future? Maybe like getting someone to help you with a lot of stuff, especially the editing. I know taking that down to all the pictures, yeah. Or maybe
It's
like a studio or something.
it's aggressively getting to that point. Yeah. I've actually
Mm.
been renting and doing a lot of studio work recently. And
Congratulations.
it's something that thank you.
Yeah.
It was something that I had
We
always
have
had
a button.
interest in and had been doing low key, but I had no idea how much people had.
There we go. Had to hit the button on him.
I I didn't realize how much people had an interest in it, you know.
Oh.
Like I thought, oh, like some people wouldn't want to like, pay the price of it, like it is like it can be pricey and it's a lot to it, but at the same point, like when planned ahead of time, it's such a fun environment because
Mm.
as much as like, yeah, most people when they run into me at a con, it's like a quick 5-10 minute interaction of, oh snap, yo, that Superman is cool as hell. Yeah, if I get a quick pick in, then we're chopping it up for like 5 to 10 minutes. But I don't want to take up your whole con. Like you came here with a limited amount of time. As much as I'm enjoying the conversation, you might have friends somewhere. I probably need some water. Like I'm not trying to hold you up. Like when we have studio time, like an hour, 2, 3 hours, we can have fun. Like I can have my laptop set up and you can see the pictures right as I'm doing them. Like we can look online and like I'll have music playing and we're like just getting comfortable like all right like let's try this pose, let's try that. Oh, you know what, like we're bouncing ideas off each other. And
Mm.
even more so when I tell people bring a friend, bring boyfriend, girlfriend, or best friend, whatever, because they're gonna have you with like a silly expression. They're gonna jump in and like do little like dumb poses and I'm gonna capture those memories too. That's what it's all about,
Mhm.
Yeah,
Facts. All right, time
that's
for
I
my
love that.
question.
Love that. Love
uh,
that.
So, have you ever been to any
uh,
adult cons or like 18 plus cons?
yeah, a lot actually. I'll be going to one next month in Vegas. Yeah.
Oh, is that the one that they just started taking to Houston? I forget what it's called. Um,
It's a SumiCon, and
yes, yeah,
SumiCon?
yep, yeah,
We've
because
never
it
been.
was started in Vegas, right?
SUMI, yeah.
I feel like I would
The
want to
last one I
go, but
went
at
to
the
was in.
same time, I feel like I don't.
I want to
It's one of
It's an
go.
those things where it's
experience.
like I feel like the experience will be nice, but the experience will be awkward all in the same.
Um,
It's it's
You was
interesting.
going to
So
adult cons without me, dog?
no, I was actually gonna bring up the example that his friend Xavier gave when we went and got ramen, and it was they had the two girls on the floor, and things were happening to them, and it was a contest to see who taps out and first, and it was
What was this
yeah.
things
con and where
happen.
can I buy tickets and how much were they? I'm just curious, just for
Um,
information purposes,
For the
I
pod, for the
for the
listeners.
pod, for the listeners, you know.
so crazy story because things just kind of happened. Remember Anime Frontier? Going back to my first convention I got invited to. While I was there, I had a friend who was there, and I was walking around with him, and he notices Juliet Michelle, aka Bishojo Mom, who I didn't know anything about. Apparently, very popular in the adult scene and everything. A lot of Gooner boys know all about her. And
Shout out to my
he was like, "Oh,
goons.
you know how it is." My boy's like, "Why don't you go ask her a picture?" And I'm like, I don't know her. She's probably like super famous or something. I don't want it to be weird. I have no idea who she is. I just, I'm not in the scene. He goes, "Nah, man, you never know. Like, why don't you just ask her a picture?" So I walk up, I'm like, "Hey, like, introduce myself." And she's super awesome, super nice. She comes out from behind the booth. We do a little photo shoot, like, quick. It was awesome. Had no idea how big she was. You literally like millions of people like followers on Instagram and everything. And after that interaction, that whole weekend, she invited me to she had started our 18 convention. It was called Komochi Con in Texas last year. I think it was in like April or March. And yeah, pretty much just like he was saying, it was pretty crazy. It was a lot of things that happened there, but my biggest appeal to it was the fact that I got to interact with these people. And it's kind of like I like seeing people being like their comfortable, like most like unapologetic self. And like in this situation, it was a lot of people where I could see similar to in the cosplay scene, they weren't allowed to be their most authentic self. They weren't allowed to like be honest about what they like, what they dislike, you know, and like being realistic. We know these lunar guys are out there. We know what they want to pay for, what they want to see, right? And I'm like, hey, I'm all for girls getting and guys getting what they're gonna get, you know. So it's like this is a convention where it's like everybody could be happy doing what they want to do consensually. You just saw it was nothing but happiness. There was no beef. You ain't got to worry about people with drama. It wasn't, you know, any of like the bad vibes that I, you know, could have thought of. Yeah, some things might have been out of my comfort zone, but at the same point, it was a lot of people enjoying themselves and being happy, and literally nothing but like super positive, like happy environments. Very similar to how Katsucon was, just like a gathering of people just being themselves. You know, I'm all for it on that end. Like anything that will bring people together like that.
That's so lit. Like, and it just makes me remember our first DreamCon together. That was our first con that we went to together as a group.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Another
We ended
big
up
one.
interviewing a couple of OnlyFans and PH Pornhub stars.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I mean, the sites we upload to, by the time we get to this part, it doesn't matter if I say it, but like, yeah, we ended up interviewing like a couple of them, and like those were like our first interviews, and they were such cool people. Like,
The
it was
coolest people,
nice for
honestly.
getting the nerves out. We see one like really frequency. What's her name?
Ashley.
Ashley, yeah, little baby Ashley. We see her like almost every
yeah,
con we
I know
go to.
Ashley, she's matcha. Yeah,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
Yeah.
again, mad cool peoples. Her and a bunch of the girls I met at
And Kate.
Con, and I see it and who? Which one?
I think Kate Does Everything is her name.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, she it's funny. Like I talk with her a lot. Actually, we kind of live near each other. It's crazy how
That's
small
lit.
world. Side of it.
When I said like the people that I met, you knew, like I was like serious.
Literally, it's small world. It's
Yeah.
it's never like I was never the type of person that like was like very outgoing. Like I kind of like very like chill, laid back to myself. But you know, I would meet somebody, and then I'm just like, okay, like they're cool people. They're in a group of people, shaking hands. Go to add everybody, and I'm like, oh, 100,000 followers, 400,000 followers. I'm like, all right, goddamn, then I walked into some celebrities over here. But it's always just the coolest people, like no matter whether they're like OnlyFans models or just like up cosplayers, or it's like, average Joes. It's always like such a chill environment getting to like meet somebody and see what they're passionate about, no matter what the
Facts.
form it is. Like and like that's like the big thing. Any convention I go to is people being passionate about what they love.
Facts.
Definitely.
I think we should end questions there. We don't want to take too long.
Yeah, that's fine. with me.
Unless you guys have more questions.
I'm good. That was my question. I got the Gooner question out, and had to
The Gooner question.
hell yeah, I had to rep the Gooners. You feel me? These niggas try to bully me.
So you gotta give the Gooners a little love out there. You gotta give them some reason to watch too.
Hey man, the
love
Gooners
it.
make the world go round.
They make the world do something.
Yeah, they do
Absolutely.
something.
So the topic. So we're gonna get into the topic. Nate, before we do that though, tell us where we can find you. Any links you want to share, anything like that. Just get your name out. Go your time.
Gotcha. Well, name is Nate. You can find me on Instagram. Yo, it's Nate. It's yo_itz_Nate. You'll always know it by Red Teddy Bear Gingy. That's my boy. He's the icon on everything. And I have all my links on there. So any of the conventions I go to, if anybody ever runs into me, my photos that I have for you, if they're done, they're on my gallery website. High quality images for free. A lot of people forget that. I try to remind people all the time. I'm not charging you for your own pictures. I think that's weird. Sorry, shout out to all the photographers. But my thing is, if I run into you at a convention and I tell you your outfit looks cool and I take your picture, I'm not charging you to see the picture that I took for you. I want you to have it. I want you to spread it out. That's just my thing. If you want to book me for a half hour at a convention, that's a different story because now you're buying my time, But I'm not trying to hold on to you guys' pictures. Please reach out. Anybody who sees this, reach out if we shot together. I feel bad when I have your pictures because I can't post them if I don't know who you are. So please reach out. I want them out to you.
Awesome.
Yeah, you don't want them to die on a hard drive in a closet somewhere.
Especially if they're fired.
I connected with people years later, literally 2 years later, and I'd be like, "Oh, I know you. I've seen your face. Hold on." I go to show them, and they're like, "Oh my god, these are so good." I'm like, "Yeah, I've been dying to share them." Dying.
All right. That being said, let's get into the topic, which was plot
Mhm.
twist that blew our mind. So this one,
Right.
I think it's right that you start, Nate. I want to hear some of those because you already piqued my interest with some of the characters and shows you've been putting out in games. So I'm curious to some plot twists that might have blew your mind. Go ahead. We'll each share 3 and see where we go.
Yeah, put her in a spot with 3.
Yeah.
Well, one
Start with
first. We go
one.
in a circle. It's like a
Yeah,
one
yeah.
to the other. Yeah.
Gotcha. So the first one is an anime related thing, but the one that really caught me off guard a lot. Anybody seen that Blink Twice movie? Um,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
No,
Yes.
I was
I
about to
did
watch it this
not.
weekend, but I didn't. Was it good? I don't care about
ooh,
spoilers. I love
It
being
looked good,
spoiled.
but I'm willing to hear
this
spoilers because I want to. This is a very
you
spoiler heavy
sure?
episode,
Because this is
everybody. I just want to give you guys a
yeah.
warning from this point forward. There will be spoilers for some of your favorite anime, manga, TV shows, movies, etc. So be warned. If you hear something you like, skip a few minutes ahead and see where we are. Otherwise, listen in. Sorry, I wanted to give that disclaimer.
No, that's a good one because this is the one I feel bad about. I was like, I was gonna say, you really sure you don't mind because this is a
Yes.
bad
No,
one.
but she does
So
not
sure.
mind. You're fine.
So I watched the movie because I'm a big fan of like psychological thrillers. One of the things that got me into anime was Death Note. The first
Mm.
manga I ever read, and I read all through it. I made my mom Scholastic Book Fair order every volume. That was the big one. um, but so that movie I saw, and everything from the trailer, they did a good job of hiding what the story was about. And I like something where as it's happening, you're trying to figure it out as it's going, so, for those unfamiliar, it's about these two women. They're working for this company. I believe they're like either like waitresses or like cooks.
Haters.
And
Yeah.
yeah, while they're at this fancy party, there's this gentleman there that everybody knows is like super wealthy. Let's say like a Jeff Bezos person, probably
Yeah.
even better a Jeffrey Epstein, like younger, because he
Yeah.
has like money and he owns a private island, and it's
Yeah.
like the exclusive island people go to. So while the woman is there, she winds up having a chance interaction with this guy. He winds up showing her off to her friends, and he invites her back to the island. And while they're there, they're having a blast. They're enjoying themselves. They're drinking, they're smoking, they're doing like Molly. They're having like all types of good food. Like they're having a blast. But there's just a bunch of little weird things that are happening, and like they wake up and there's dirt underneath their fingernails, or they are having a hard time remembering what's happening at night, and they're losing track of memory, and they then eventually, as the movie's going, they're realizing that they're getting forgetful, and the big like shift in the tone of the movie comes when, as I said in the beginning, there's two girls. One of the girls goes missing, and nobody else at the place can remember. Like the best friend is like, "Oh, where's?" I don't even remember the girl. Let's say Samantha, and
Yeah.
everybody else is like, "Who's Samantha?" You know. So that was like the big pull for me. I'm like, okay, what's going on? Is it aliens? Is it like some like powers? What's going on in this movie? Um, the shocker and the plot twist is just of how it's not like terrible, but just of how raw. That I understand the impact of the movie and what they were trying to give, but the whole plot twist is essentially these billionaires are just evil men who were drugging and raping any of the women that came to the island. And it was as brutal as a scene as you could imagine, and they continue to drive it home that this has not only happened once, but that this woman has been going through this for years essentially, and she just keeps forgetting the fact that she has been coming to this island, that they have just been doing this.
Yep.
There was It was very rough and very harsh out of nowhere, in a sense of where I feel like there were a lot of options for where a movie could have gone, and then it just ultimated to, yeah, these evil men are terrible to women, and it has a good ending. The people who are abused wind up getting a lot of victory, but it's one of those where you kind of expected more based on how good of a base foundation it was. I was like, okay, there's gonna be something more to this than men ain't shit, essentially. Like evil grown rich. Like we knew rich men, we knew Epstein. That shit. I was like, was it really? I was like, it was like, that's it, really? Like, no way, y'all didn't build up all this suspense, and it's just this college freshman year horse shit. Like, come on, like
The
it's
climax
terrible.
was that it was a Diddy party is crazy.
Quite literally, and it was a lot of build up. Like something is crazy happening. Like
Like
I'm thinking maybe it's like
something.
rituals or something. These people are possessed. Like it's clone bodies, even something real in depth or sci-fi. It was
Yeah.
very out there just to be. Oh no, these people are just evil pieces of shit. It's like, okay, well,
Okay.
I feel that.
Yes.
I'm gonna go watch that. Yeah. No, that sounds like a good movie.
I love that movie. I've recently become somewhat of a movie buff, and I see movies every week. And so when it came to that being in theaters, it wasn't in theaters long, so I missed it. So I was really upset. But once
same,
it came
yeah.
to Prime, I was like, oh my God. Because that whole plot was insane, and the ending twist was even insaner. And then the thing that I will give them credit for is that they did have a character there that he was like the women in the sense that he didn't know what was going on. They were making him forget. And he wasn't involved, but he was a bystander. And it was like, that doesn't make you any better than them.
Yep, and the guy pressed him about it at one point.
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh, if you do nothing, you're still complicit." And
Right. Right.
Yeah.
they made a lot of like on the nose kind of references to things. So like I appreciated the like, and I guess that's another reason why I felt so like bitter toward it, because I was like, wow, you guys are really good at telling the story you want, and I was like, that's the one you chose. Damn.
Yeah.
I think when movies
Sheesh.
I think when movies go
Yeah.
in that direction, it's because I've talked about this to people a lot. Like a lot of people hate when we do what I call real things in movies. They want it to be more. They want it to be like something that's impossible or like that we can't prove. When in reality, sometimes the most evil thing in the world is each other.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
a lot of people don't like that in movies because it kind of makes you look in a mirror, and then it's like they could have did something crazy. And it's like, but if I did something crazy, you wouldn't look at the issues around it, like that people do
It's
this.
valid.
That
Yeah.
this is
That's
believable,
valid, yeah.
and that is a problem in and of itself.
Yeah. And I
That's
feel
very
that
true.
that ties to our favorite person's, Josh Johnson's message about the Kendrick halftime show. It's like, at the end of the day, he's an entertainer. Movies are for entertainment, so they're for escapism. So when people don't get that escapism and get more realism, they feel a way about it.
Right.
Yep.
But it's like, I feel like for
That's a
me
good
personally,
point.
that's the best form of entertainment, when you can make people think and reflect about real things.
Right.
Yeah,
I agree.
Absolutely.
They say art mimics, reality, but when it does it too well, that's when people are upset. But I'm like, no, that's the point. That's the point.
I do get that. I like it to be real. Like
Yeah.
there's
But that
certain
part-
things like you want it to hit and like feel the connection.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's why South Park's one of my favorite shows ever. Period. Point blank.
I have South Park playing in the background right now.
I'm gonna go next. So my first one is going to be one of the hit series going on right now, Invincible.
Okay.
Specifically the first episode. That plot twist, I did not see it coming.
No.
Yeah, I did not
Yeah,
see it
I don't think
coming.
anybody
I was
did,
like,
yeah.
oh, we got another superhero show. Cool. I knew who it was by, right? Robert Kirkman.
Right.
He writes a lot of crazy shit. So I'm like, something crazy is going to happen in this show. I don't know when. I didn't think episode 1 was going to be the crazy shit. So like to see that scene and then for the episode just to end, I was immediately hooked. Season 1 of Invincible doesn't have a single bad episode. Period. Point blank. I stand on that. I will die on that hill.
It does not. It does not. It's
I
really
get it.
good.
Omni-Man
like-
pulling up and killing the Justice League is crazy.
And that was
Yeah,
the thing. He
that really
killed
was wild.
everybody. Like and they did such a good job of like making you love him. And I've just watched the first 3 episodes of Invincible season 3. I keep forgetting they're hour long. So they took, if it's an hour long, they took 55 minutes for you to love this man. Like you're like, oh, his peers respect him. He has a wife and they get busy.
He
and,
a
like,
family
his
man. He take
son
her on
wants to be like
dates.
him, and now he's
Mhm.
excited about his son being a hero, and he's training him. And he's really sweet about it, and then this happens. You're just like, wait a minute,
It just escalates. Yeah.
Escalated 0 to 100 real
Yeah.
quick. Oh my God. Yeah, I like that. Invincible was a great show. It is.
Absolutely
is.
great.
That
So-
scene is the exact
See
reason
that,
why.
yeah.
I want it to be known. I was gonna say a different plot twist that's happening later, and I'm not gonna spoil it for the people who don't read it. But
Thank you.
that's another situation. That's another situation that I think is gonna be similar to you with Blink Twice, where people get upset that it's going to mimic real life.
Mm,
I know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Yeah,
Those
I
who
don't
know,
read
if you
anything.
know, you know.
Yeah, I don't read anything. I watch everything, but I don't mind being spoiled. So like people who review mangas and shows, I'll read your chapter. I'll listen to your chapter reviews. and still act surprised when I see them like see it in anime. They be like, "Oh my gosh, that's me."
All right.
I guess I'll go next. So, the Philosopher's Stone from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. You knew I was gonna say it, Heat. I don't know why you wrote it down. It's my favorite anime. It's mine to say.
Fair.
So first, I think it's a two-parter for me for the Philosopher's Stone. First, you find out the Philosopher's Stone is made from human souls. Like it is the only way you can make one, and it's the thing that we've been looking for like episodes or chapters now. Then
Right.
you find out that their dad is a Philosopher's Stone. Like Hohenheim and father are Philosopher's Stones themselves. So like finding out like that on top of what the Philosopher's Stones are is crazy, because like the whole show, like the whole first half of the show is them looking for one, us learning about it, knowing that it's gonna fix everything, and then like it really turns the show on its head, because now it's like, how can I morally use this thing to fight? And they end up actually using them. Both Alphonse and Ed use Philosopher's Stones in the story eventually.
To be fair, didn't they use them in survival situations?
Yes, but it's just like you see them, like it just creates this moral, that plot twist creates a lot of more moral twists and turns in the story, which makes it the story that it is. So
agreed. I was pretty shook up when I was like, oh, we're using human souls.
Yeah.
What we gonna do with this information? Because in my head, my moral compass is, I say it's pretty gray most times. Like, I'm gonna do the right thing. He calls me a villain, but I try to do the right thing. But Fireball is always gonna work. But my point being is, like, the souls are gone. I might as well use them for some good. That's my thought process.
This is coming from the man in every form of D&D game that we play. He hits me with Fireball and kills me.
I bring him back. I get rid of the big bad.
He's like, you're standing too close to the enemy. Fireball.
I give him a warning. I say, next round I'm going nuclear, which means I'm throwing some type of explosive and then using Fireball on top of it to make a bigger boom. So, you've been warned.
Yeah.
You've been warned.
You've been warned.
I wanted to comment that I will stand that in the first Full Metal, that Scar was way better written than the actual Brotherhood storyline. That's just a personal.
That's okay. And you know what? I don't disagree. I just think that the ending of the first one is dog shit.
Yeah, that's fair. I wanted to go with something a little lighthearted since everyone's been kind of heavy. Because you don't think of it as a plot twist, but it actually is. Dragon Ball Z discovering that Goku's just an alien, like
just knowing that.
Yeah,
that's like once again episode 1 plot twist.
Because most people were introduced into that universe with Dragon Ball Z and not Dragon Ball. But like growing up watching Dragon Ball and then going to that, and it's like, oh yeah, the main protagonist is just an alien. It's like, huh? It's like now that it's kind of diminished every accomplishment you had because you're just built completely different. Everyone, like, it wasn't training and strength. You were just built different. Like,
you were always built different.
And you're the weakest of your alien race at that. They pulled up saying, yeah, you're low class. That's why you're here.
Yeah, you were literally the like, we got rid of you because we didn't want you. And it's
right.
Like, damn, bro. I thought I was real on Earth, but okay.
We thought you were dead. Like, we assumed whatever lived here killed you, and that was it.
These niggas thought I was dead.
And we were okay with that.
Oh, man. Yeah. All right, Nate, back to you, dog.
I got another plot twist for you. I feel like this is one everybody agrees with. The Attack on Titan, finding out, that Reiner and Berthold were both the armored and the giant. That was a moment. Because
so
nobody could be prepared.
For me, this is where ADHD kicks in real hard. I knew from the second attack that it was them.
Really?
I could tell. All the Titans have very human characteristics, right? Once we saw, so I was like, these two people look a lot like those Titans. And I was like, there is no fucking way that these two are Titans. They're the
That's shocking
homies.
that you
They're
can call
like
it
that.
her,
When
because
we
I had no
found
idea,
out that
personally.
Annie was the female Titan, I said, oh yeah, no, Berthold and Reiner is part of that group. These niggas is ops.
You were 1,000% above the curve on that one.
You
Because
were, yeah.
nobody was, yeah. Like
Yeah.
I remember hearing them say it, and I was like, did they just
It was so
say that?
casual,
I'm like,
right?
what?
It was
Yeah,
so
that's what got me.
casual.
It was just, oh hey, just letting you know this is it, and it was like, wait, no, they're not. They didn't. He didn't say that.
Yo, stop playing,
And then they did
dog.
the flashback.
You know they
I
killed.
was like, just like Aaron, like, come on, bro. Like, yeah,
Yo, stop playing. You know they killed my
just
mom. You know I hate Titans, dog. Why you playing? Stop playing, bro.
yeah, like stop playing around, bro. Like it's not that serious. And
No,
there's the whole background of it too. That I was like really hooked into that series by that point because I'm like, all right, like they're doing something different here.
That's what hooked my fiance. So like they just started watching anime, and so we watched
Mhm.
Attack on Titan. And when it happened, I'm pretty sure we had to pause it. Like we had to pause it. Like when Reiner went in mid transformation, it was like, no, this is not what's happening. They were like having a meltdown, and I was
Yeah,
just
it
like,
was big.
and
It
I was
was a
just
moment.
enjoying. I was enjoying them finding out. I was just like,
See,
I was like, you have to pay attention. Watch the TV. Watch the TV. Don't look at me.
so I'm gonna
The
piggyback off of
music
this.
playing, all that.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
piggyback off of this. So my next one was actually when Aaron got eaten. That
Oh yeah,
I have never seen a protagonist get X'd out
yep.
in episode 4. I was like,
Yeah, it was early.
Yeah.
Aaron having his moment, holding him off. I'm like, yeah, Aaron, you him, yeah.
And then it just
Mouth
closed,
closes. I
yep.
said, excuse
I
me.
actually was right there. And the
I'm
way
like-
they had the sound that dropped right.
Yeah.
They had the music playing. You like, yes, yeah. Stops. I was like, is Armin the main character? And I just didn't know. Cause like,
Literally, I was like, whoa, wait a minute. I was like, what is this series? I was like, what's going on here?
the funniest thing about that is if Aaron, so that Titan completely screwed himself over from becoming a shifter because one,
Mhm.
if he had bitten Aaron in half, he would have became a shifter because he needs spinal fluid. And two, since he only bit off Aaron's arm, Titans don't have a digestive system. He would just throw Aaron up eventually,
yeah.
which is
Yeah.
hilarious
Crazy.
to think about because it's like, damn, you would have never got that spinal fluid and you ate the right one.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to like think about that.
So-
That show made me so mad. I'm so
I
sorry.
remember, so like when it came out, it was pretty like that was a hype moment, especially for like like more so for casual anime watchers because it's like we never seen this before. Antagonists don't die 4 episodes in.
Gurren
But,
Lagann.
but I remember during
Spoiler alert to
COVID
that.
when like when people were like watching anime and like just because there's nothing else to fucking watch and like everybody was just watching Attack on Titan at the same time and for some reason everybody was on episode 4 at the same time. I was like, who in the world just turned Attack on Titan on everybody's TV? Because everybody was going insane. Everybody was going insane.
Everybody, yeah.
And I was like, we've already done this. I was like, did we time travel? I was like, we did this already. But it was just like everybody was in it. It was
So
it was
I'm
great.
pretty
a
sure it was
moment.
because during COVID, one of the later seasons came out that had action in it, like right before the Marley raid and stuff like that. So like you had a lot of action, you had a lot of reveals going on back to back to back to back in this one season. So it was already at the top of Netflix when it came out.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure people are like, oh, this show at the top. Why is this show number 2? It's got 3 seasons. I'm stuck in the crib anyway. Then niggas
Yep.
is like, yo, why has no one put me onto this? And I'm like, I tried. Y'all ain't want to listen.
Yeah.
I tried.
My next one is Jason Todd. The fact that he's alive and was Hiss, aka Red Hood. I like it was. I mean, I knew when I saw the movie because I read the comics, but like that, like Batman is supposed to be the greatest detective, and he was just like because he was Jason Todd was just like thwarting Batman at every move. Like he couldn't do anything, and like Batman eventually like gets in a groove, and he's like, I got it, I figured it out, and he could not figure it out. Like, and if Jason Todd wasn't Jason Todd, Batman wouldn't have never figured it out. He never would have been like, who did it? He would have never figured it out. But Jason Todd is a child, and arrogant. And he's like, "Ha, I'm Jason Todd. You never would have known." And it's like, no, he wouldn't have. Shut the fuck up. He didn't figure it out. He did not solve the mystery.
But I feel like with Batman, it was in the back of his mind, like it was a possibility. He's like, no, like I watched him die. Like
Right.
Yeah.
that can't be true.
Right, because he exited out as an impossibility. Of course, he thought about it. Don't get me wrong. He's like, "Is it him?" He's like, "Nah, I saw that nigga die. I know that nigga is very dead." But
These
and then
niggas
Jason
thought I
Todd
was
was like,
dead.
"It is me." And then it's just like, nigga. But yeah, we all know I love Batman.
I thought you would have said the Batman Beyond one. Honestly.
Yeah, that's insane. That's actually insane.
I just think I don't like that plot twist.
It makes
I don't
sense.
like it. I mean, yes, but I don't like it.
Especially because of what happened in the series before.
I just wanted him to be his own Batman, and they were like, "No, he's still
Not
Bruce,
that one.
Kinda.
Not that one. The Tim Drake
the
guys,
one.
Joker one. The
I'll be
Joker.
1 minute, guys. I'm just gonna mute my mic. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is
What?
a good one.
What are we talking about?
Talking
That
about
Tim Drake
Tim Drake
was the new Joker.
Was the new Joker. That is a good one.
Tim Drake is one of the Robins.
Yes.
He was
The last Robin.
I really wanted to say that about the Attack on Titan thing. Attack on Titan, that scene is the reason why I was so mad at sub anime, because on screen, like, you just see two conversations happening, and one of them is like, yeah, so I'm the Attack Titan, and I mean the Armor Titan, and I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, fuck this other conversation up here. What did they just say down there? What is that subtitle saying to me?
And it was so like, and I say it was so nonchalant when they said it. He was just like, "Yeah, so like, and you gotta come with us because you gotta go."
I'm the he's the Colossal. I'm the Armored. We're from Marley.
Like,
we did it. He's like, "Yo, stop playing with me, bro." Do
It's like,
I look like I'm playing?
You to save our people.
Yeah.
I had a question. Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
Oh, okay.
All right, let's keep it moving. Who's next?
All right.
Pete?
Is this my second one?
Third.
yes,
Second. I'm dumb.
he's last.
Okay. So, mine's is gonna be Knives Out. If you've never seen Knives Out, the first one, not the second one.
Okay.
That was just a movie of twists. Okay, so the quick synopsis of this was that, let's just say, an old rich dude and his nurse were, sitting at home, and the next morning it comes to find out he's dead. Nobody knows how he's dead.
His birthday.
It was his birthday. You're right. I forgot about that. And his whole family's there, and they're like, everyone in his family has a reason to have tried to murder him. And so the detective's trying to figure out, like, who did it, what were their motivations, this, that, and the third. And there's so many little twists in the actual truth that it's insane, because I feel like the biggest twist for me is the fact that the nurse thought she had killed him. And so in order for her to not go down for murder, he killed himself. But in actuality, she didn't kill him because someone else had switched their medication. So she had did the right thing, and he wasn't going to die if they just did nothing. And it's just like, oh my gosh, that blew my mind. That blew my mind. Oh my god, that's a good one though. Second one was good.
I didn't see the second one. I need to see that.
Netflix.
I like the second one, but I feel like unfortunately it wasn't like that well reviewed. Like,
It didn't.
I enjoyed it.
It was good. It just didn't hit me with that twist on twist on twist that the first one hit me with. But I was like, hey, the ending, I still was like trying to figure it out the whole way through, and I didn't figure it out. They had to explain it to me. I'm just like, fuck.
Me and Joy
That
watching
series
movies
does a good
like
job
that
of getting
together.
you that. It's like the old murder mystery style. Like, they do it well at capturing that essence, because you're like, oh, who done it kind of thing, looking all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and Joy will watch movies like that and be like, all right, let's see who can figure it out first. Like, we went through the whole Saw series, and I'd already seen it, so I knew. And I was like, try and figure out who's the killer in each of the movies. Because they always show you who it is. And there's always, like, one extra person who you don't know, so I'm not going to penalize you for not knowing that. But, like, try and figure out who's the killer from what they're giving you.
Right.
Same thing with Scream. Scream's a great movie to do that with.
Oh, yeah.
It's always fun.
Oh, yeah.
Chris hates when I do that. Because a lot of times I can figure out movies, ADHD. But when I do, Chris is like, ugh.
Out of
They
the
hate it.
7 Scream movies, I was able to guess 3.5. Yeah.
Is
Okay.
that because the one had 2 killers?
Yeah.
No, they always
Mhm.
have 2
Oh.
killers. There's always 2.
Yeah,
One had 3 killers,
Oh.
and I couldn't
that was a
guess
plot
that.
twist.
So yeah, that was the plot twist that they did. So I was like, fuck.
Okay.
One of them was a suspect though, but like they fake killed him. So it was like, oh, yeah, makes sense. Got it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I was like,
Okay.
they had to run through all the ideas they could. You know, we up to like 8 now at this point. If we included
Yeah.
Jason and all of that thing, like
Mhm.
maybe more than that.
All right,
Jason
you're
never
up for
dies.
your last one.
Yep, Nate. Last one.
um, okay. I feel like this is a one that if you haven't seen the movie yet, like please go out because I mean it's a classic. Fight Club. I feel like a lot of people forget about how
Absolutely.
that moment of there is no Tyler Durden was like crazy. Because it really makes you look back on the movie, and it's a beautiful like as obviously like a person into the psych field, like seeing like how a person went through that transformation and how very realistically we can create these kind of images of ourselves, but in his mind, he was doing them subconsciously still, you know, like it's something like it's such a beauty in a sense of oh for those not familiar the movie's general premise without giving too much of spoilers is about a man who was basically very timid, very passive in his general life, and as the movie is progressing and he's hit with various different traumas and you know like extreme life circumstances, he creates an alternate persona in his subconscious without his knowing, as a basically a friend who is outgoing, who can do anything, who is the complete opposite of himself essentially, like who's brash, who's abrasive, who takes life by the horns, who doesn't care about money and wealthy possessions, you know, just gets what he wants when he wants it kind of personality. And ultimately, he and this person is the same person. It is in his mind, it's his best friend, but when he goes to sleep, he is this person. People know him as this person. He has created a whole cult of people who worship him as this person.
Wow.
And it,
You
it, it
never
was
seen
such
Fight
a
Club, Nate?
No.
You should
Please
watch
watch
it.
it.
You would
oh,
fucking love it.
Yeah.
it's
Wait, you never heard
beautiful,
first
man.
rule about
It's
Fight Club? Don't talk about Fight
Talk
Club.
about Fight Club.
Yeah, I knew that came from the movie. I just never seen it.
Oh, watch
it's
it. You're gonna
it's
love
worth
it.
it. Mhm.
Yeah, you're
It's
gonna
it's
love
a
it.
beautiful movie,
Mm.
and like yeah, I mean, I gave a bit of like the spoiler with that, but it's like it's something that while watching it, it's an amazing like psychological like kind of like movie. You know,
It's
it's
one of
one
those
of
movies
my
you
like
gotta watch twice.
top ones.
Yeah, you have to
Mhm.
watch it twice. You have to watch it once not knowing, which sorry, he. But then when you watch it again knowing, you're like, that
You're
makes
like,
sense.
damn. Yeah.
Mhm.
Because they
Mhm.
do show you some of it, like what other people were seeing, but like you watching it back, you like, oh no, like this really makes sense.
Mm.
So,
Mhm.
real quick sidebar. Now that you mentioned that, so are you really interested in like characters like Moon Knight, who have DID?
All right, to be fair, I'm not gonna lie. I've never actually seen Moon Knight, and I'm not that familiar with the character. So
Watch the show.
it's
You're gonna love it.
I know I need to. I've heard a lot of good things. I've been playing
Yeah,
a
it's
lot of
cool, man.
Rivals recently, and
Yes,
I
sir.
keep seeing
Yes,
the
sir.
character, and all I know is something related to Khonshu, and it seems like some split personality kind of thing going on. So
So
I definitely
yeah,
do feel like I would love it. Yeah.
without spoiling anything, yeah, he's a guy that has DID. He has split personalities. In
Okay.
the show, they explain
Mhm.
like how they developed throughout his life. I'm not gonna tell you
Okay.
which one's the main one, but he has 2 that you know of in the
Mhm.
beginning. Stephen Grant and Mark Spector. Those are like the 2
All right,
main
I've heard the
personalities,
names.
right?
Okay.
And in some iterations, like Moon Knight is his own,
Hmm.
his own,
Persona.
his own persona.
That's so I've never heard any description of the character like that. You know, and
Yeah.
it's crazy because
Mhm.
hearing that interest just right up there.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
that's
I didn't know that.
Even each version of him has a different Moon Knight. Like their costumes are actually different. Like when he transforms into Moon Knight, depending on
Yeah.
who's in control, which is also pretty cool. It's great.
That's
It's
really
great.
cool.
And their
That's very nice,
personalities
you know?
are, and it's not like they're like subtly different person. They're all very different people, like
Yeah.
who are living their own individual lives. It's so cool.
That is very cool. Super
Mhm.
interesting.
Alright,
Yeah, nice.
I might have to
You guys
check it
are
out too.
setting up my list.
And
I
guess
love
what?
people.
There's a twist. I'm not putting it on this list for this reason. Go watch it, you two. There's a twist.
Yeah,
I
there
love
is.
shows like that or movies, anything like that. It's like Split. I love Split. And The Crowded
I
Room
need
with
to
Tom
watch
Holland.
those.
The Crowded Room
Ooh.
is really good.
Never seen it.
When
Okay.
people told me about that movie, Man,
What? Split or the Crowded Room?
the Crowded Room. I've seen Split Glass and what was the Unstoppable?
I
Unbreakable.
need to see all three of those. I've heard nothing but good things about those as well.
They're
It was
good.
they were kind of hard to find on like streaming services for a while, so I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to like scrounge and get all. I know it's all three, so I want to do the whole thing.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a slow
The
burn type
Crowded
of movie.
Room. The Crowded Room was a show that went viral because people were like, "Why is Tom Holland getting plowed in the bathroom by a man?" And it's just like,
Yeah, you know how it is.
yeah, like you have to watch it. Like, come on now. Okay.
I liked it because there was Emmy Rossum in it, who, if you guys remember from Shameless, she was
Yes.
Yes.
oh God, why am I forgetting her main character's name? But she was the main girl in Shameless for a while, like the big sister.
Fiona.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was Fiona. Exactly, perfect.
Okay, so mine. Oh, what you gotta say?
No, I was gonna say, yeah, go ahead.
Awesome. So my next one is from one of my favorite animes right now, Black Clover. So if you haven't gotten there, sorry I'm spoiling it, but this was a amazing plot twist that fixed a lot of plot holes from the Spade Kingdom raid arc. It's that Julius Novachrono technically doesn't exist. He's not Julius. He is, what was his name? Lucius Zagratis. He is the fourth Zagratis sibling.
Yeah. It was a lot of trying to figure out who the fourth Zagratis sibling was. And I tried to figure out for a long time. Yeah, his time magic is actually the devil's time magic. His magic has to do with his actual
soul
magic.
magic.
Soul magic, right? Because all of the Socratic siblings' magic deal with the
mind, body, and
like,
soul.
Yeah.
Wait, it's mind? No, not mind, body. It's soul, body, blood, and bone.
Yeah.
And he technically, not gonna spoil it. He needed all of his siblings kind of dead. Is what he needed. Is what I'll say.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. It was. Yeah. So like his time magic isn't actually his time magic. It was great because you loved him and then you hated him, and now you hate him again.
Yeah, and like I think it's chapter 331, and it's one chapter that flips everything on his head because it's literally Julius being like, "We won the fight. Why do I still feel anxious? Like something feels wrong." And he's like, and it's not like I'm feeling wrong just because of the Spade Kingdom. I felt wrong since this point in time. And he's like just in his room just thinking and thinking. And then the dude who had Asa on trial, was it Demetrius or something like that? He was pulling up like, so I did some research and
the scales.
Yeah, with the scales.
Scales.
I did some research and I'm hoping I'm wrong about this because there's a fourth sibling. And he's like, oh, yeah. And there was, in like the three main devils that ruled hell, originally there was a different one ruling who just kind of disappeared. And he's like,
right.
Oh,
Magukula actually isn't a ruler. He
mm-hmm.
moved up because this one went missing.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, so there's another like ruling devil out there. He's like, yeah. And the fourth sibling apparently made a pact with it. And I think that is you. Because there's in no history of the entire Clover Kingdom or the Spade Kingdom has there been like a time grimoire. And then he's like, oh, fuck. And has a realization. He's like, yo, stop me. And he can't stop him. And then his grimoire finally closes. And you see that it's not a Clover Kingdom's grimoire. It's a Spade Kingdom. And it's equivalent of a 4-leaf Clover book. And it's a double spade.
Right.
Oh, that's fun. That is fun. Because the anime isn't there yet.
Yeah, I was about to say, while that was very enlightening, why did you pick a manga spoiler of everything you could have done? Of everything you could have done, you did something that was not even animated yet.
Yo, it's so good because it's gonna be such a great moment, and I know the voice acting that everything's gonna go so fucking fire.
It was gonna be a great moment.
It is gonna be a great moment. Hopefully you forget.
The same way that I
got the thing
watched...
from Men in Black. Open your eyes real quick.
The same way I haven't watched Solo Leveling because I've read it all and I'm just waiting for it to be animated so I can enjoy it once.
Just watch it straight through. Yeah, because I won't lie. I ran out of dubbed episodes and I'm real upset. I'm just real upset over here.
There are people that like you said, there are people that do the read throughs and they do the voices and everything. You should watch them. That's really good.
No, because so I tried to do the sub. I have learned if I start something one way, I gotta finish it that way. So if I do want to watch something continuously, I better start it subbed.
To be fair,
because
me and he did tell you to read it.
Yeah.
y'all did, but I know what's
Long
gonna happen,
before.
and I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Fair.
I just
think
want to see.
I think I'm starting to prefer manhwas because they're all in color, so like I can see everything they want me to see when a big move's happening, versus like in manga I kind of got to use my imagination until it's animated or colored.
Yeah.
I can agree with that very much. I also feel like I kind of like the pacing of manhwas a lot more recently. I feel like mangas, as much as like, yeah, like I like having a more fleshed out story in some regards, in a story
Yeah.
like Death Note or Promise Neverland. But if I have something where I want the action, I feel like solo leveling, I don't know.
Good.
I want there to be a difference between a novel and the like kind of like the serialized like cartoony like
Right.
action version of it,
Yeah.
and by having like a novel where I can get the meat and cookies of it, but then it's like, oh, if I just want to look at the flash, it's there. Like it's a little bit different. Like I feel bad for people when they're reading manga serialized and you can tell there's a lot of filler and just a lot of just nothing going on, just trying to like fill in as many plot holes as possible in the background, whereas
Yeah.
that would be 2 episodes as opposed to 2 months that people were waiting for that, right?
I think it's because manhwas, what they try to do is they give you hype action, hype action, hype action, climax, and then during the fallen action you get a little bit of exposition, but we're already into the next arc. We never really fall all the way. We kind of just go straight across, and then during the build up they give you more exposition as we go into the big fight. We have the big fight. Everything's already explained. So now we're explaining the next arc, and then once again, we don't ever like go below the midpoint anymore. We just kind of go up
Yep.
and then over and then up and then over. And the stakes just keep getting
Yeah,
higher
high
and higher
school.
and higher because
Literally.
they're so much faster. So like
Yeah.
I gotta raise the stakes,
Wait,
raise the
it's
stakes, raise the
insane.
stakes. And the world building is always done in the beginning of manhwas. So it's like, you know what you're getting now. Let's get
Yeah.
into it.
I feel like my thought process on that is that they understand, like, if we get canceled, we're not coming back. Like,
Right.
there's so many other things out there. Like, we need to
That's
grab their attention. So let's get to the point and let's be efficient with it, but also still do it well written.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Yeah.
So my last one is going to be Hans from Frozen. That was like, as a Disney watcher, as you guys can see, I have all my ears. As someone who is like big into Disney, like the fact that it wasn't true love blew me. Like, not blew me. I wasn't mad, but like really took me by surprise. I was like, "What you mean?" And it was the way he did it was so cold. Because the whole movie, he's like, "Oh, like." He's like, they have Love is an Open Door. They have their love song. They
We
have
finish
their
each other's
meet cute.
sandwiches.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, that was a
And
big one. Yeah.
and then, like, even while she's gone, he's doing the right things for the most part. Like, the people are cold and he's giving out soup, and the guy's like, "Oh, we should kill Elsa." He was like, "First of all, Anna put me in charge, and I'm gonna make sure her kingdom is good while she's gone." And I'm like, "Yes, man." Yeah, like, he's doing all of the right things, and then she comes back and he's just like, "If only there's someone who loved you." Bitch, what? What do you mean? It's supposed to, you love her. You do.
I don't love
It
her. I
was
love what she
really
can do for me, and
dark.
that's make me king. And if you dead, I can still be king. So
It
And
was
that's
crazy.
it was great. It was just like, oh my gosh. Like, it's not like you can't fall in love with a guy you first met. Like, no, you can't. And like, because Disney's supposed to be like love and fairy tales, so it was a great like mind twist. And then of course, like, true love being more than just like love between a man and a woman, like sisterly love, friend love. Like, there's different types of love that can save you.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful. Yeah, so that's my ending. I'm ending on a non-toxic note this week. Look
I'm
at
gonna
me.
ruin. I'm gonna be toxic. Don't
It
worry about it.
works.
I got it for you. What about self-love? Why didn't Anna love herself? Why didn't she save herself as a strong, independent, I don't know what kind of woman she was, from the mountains of Caucasus? No, I'm kidding.
Okay, so do y'all want the one that I'm excited to tell, or the one that pissed me off so much?
You hate
One
me.
you, the pissed off one you would more know.
Then that one.
You sure?
Yeah, let's do that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm
so
in the middle.
we're talking about a show that the whole premise begins with you got to fight against prophecy and destiny and fate. Why the hell are you telling me that Naruto and Sasuke are reincarnations of the first sons of the man who created chakra? That sounds a lot like fate and destiny to me. Okay? That plot twist made me so mad. I'm like, you already introduced this alien woman and got rid of Madara, who was my favorite character in that entire arc. And now you introduce this alien
Do
woman.
you
I'm
want
like,
the clones to use Sasano?
It's just they peaked
He was just so
with
cold.
Itachi and Madara's whole background and the whole like there was so much depth to it. And then they're like, hey guys, we're gonna just start throwing shit out there whenever we feel like it. So here's some aliens and here's some more original people that you never heard of that now have power creeped way above anybody else you heard of. Because fuck it, why not? We need this to keep going, right? And like,
you're still gonna read, you're still gonna watch. What does it matter?
Hey, yeah.
What does
they
it
did
matter?
a really good job of keeping everybody on a pretty consistent power creep, which I'll be fair. I mean, yeah, we started off with Kunai being the deadliest thing and we evolved into Rasengans and shit. But
Yeah.
you know, up until the war, it kind of was we kind of had a level ground of like where people were in like the standings of shit. And then eventually it was Madara came out and he was like, okay, you guys, everybody is beneath me. Everybody is beneath me.
What are you gonna do? That was a good job stopping the first one. What are you gonna do about the second? Excuse me?
Yeah. He really came out the gate and really like defined his power above everybody. And then they were like, all right, well, what are we gonna do? We're gonna push everybody else just further with main character, you know, horse shit. And it was just like, all right, guys.
We call that
really?
here. We call that putting your dick on the table. And Madara put the dick and both balls on the table and said, "Suck it," because Jesus Christ, he would.
Then they said,
Who you know runs into an army of allied forces. When I say allied forces, I mean every ninja country in the world is like, this man is a threat. I'm comfortable. I know if I got every country behind me, I'm like, let's do this. Ah! Something in me would say, there's one nigga here. Maybe I should be scared.
he said, there's 50,000 of us and one of
He
him.
only used taijutsu. He didn't use
Yeah,
like,
he did.
he just used taijutsu the whole
I'm not gonna lie.
time.
If I'm in the back and I saw this nigga slap a bomb on someone then blow up 17 other niggas, I'm going home. This war is not meant for me to be fighting. You think I'm gonna hurt this man?
He could look at all of them and have them in a genjutsu for 82 hours, just sitting there
honestly.
just staring dumb. It's like, bro, I'm
He
the
did it.
worst man ever. Yeah, he just chose not to.
I wanted to say
Everything
maybe that's
about
why they were
Madara-
losing, because they had to look at his feet the whole time. But at the same time, using shotgun is a choice, and I feel like he said, "No, I want to put these niggas to sleep the old-fashioned way."
Yeah, absolutely.
Everything about his character was, it's my choice. I can do what I want here. You let me know what you want or prefer, but I'm still gonna do what I want. You know, like, oh my god, that made me so mad when they took that. Granted, he was kind of OP written. They had to write him out the story some way, but the way that they did it was just so.
We could have just touched hands and sealed Madara in the moon. That'd have been fine. I'd have been okay with that.
Yeah, but to just
No,
make
we
him
would have
feel-
Rasengan to death. Come on, let's be real here.
I just felt like it diminished everything that happened in the actual Naruto series because it's like, oh, I'm always rooting for this underdog kid that nobody had any hopes for besides destroying the world. And it's like, yeah, he's always been the hero. He was destined to be the hero. The frog said it, so don't forget that. You know, the frog said it. So now the moon people are gonna say it too. He was always the hero. The guy that you hate the most, yeah, Sasuke. No, he's the other hero. He's just the older brother reincarnated. Yeah, so he'd be a little fit, you know. That's why I hate Naruto. That's
How many eye powers do we have? Give them all.
yeah. Just they can have them all. You know, just divide it amongst them. Just you know, he
It's
gets
a bloodline thing for one person, right? We're gonna introduce these things. It's supposed to be for individual people. We're just gonna get one of these guys, all of them, and just fuck it, whatever. And take his arm too. Fuck it, who cares? It's just throwing whatever out there for any reason. And I'm like, oh, why does he have to? And when everything else is possible, why the fuck doesn't he not have an arm back by now? Or a cybernetic arm, you know? Like, there's a lot of.
It's my atonement. I need to atone, bro. You have a 15-year-old child. I think you've atoned enough. Get an arm. God.
What are you
We need you in these
punishing
fights.
yourself
You're just
for?
a handicap at this point. I
making
know
this
you're
shit
gonna
hard
throw
for
a
no
right hook and then
reason.
a kick. Why are you doing this?
Stop playing with us. You're making my
The
life
left
harder.
leg coming.
And the
Oh.
icing on the cake there, and I'll leave it at that, is on top of that, they also just killed my favorite character. My favorite character in the whole series. They just murdered him for the sake of murdering him. Said Neji,
Somebody had to
die.
die.
Yeah, and it didn't have to be Neji. It could have been anyone.
10.
It wouldn't have meant
It could have been
anything.
Yan. Nah, it could have been Kiba. It could have been Kiba.
Then who's gonna say Fang over Fang? Okay, come on.
You know who could have
It's always
died?
gonna be that.
And
I do
I
need a fan.
I would have been okay if Rock Lee died. It would have made Mike Guys. It would have made Mike Guys doing Night Guy
You
mean
know
more.
what? You know what? Rock Lee should have died.
He didn't have any way to defend
No,
himself in
no,
reality.
hold
He didn't have
on.
any
I'm
way
not
to
gonna-
defend
I'm not
himself
gonna-
in reality.
I'm not gonna let this Rock Lee slam it happen.
Yeah,
okay?
we're not gonna do that.
All right, we're not doing that. All right.
It's not
No.
slander.
Anything?
This is the most honorable thing he could have done for the series.
If
Guy?
anything, Guy should have died.
If Guy died, I would.
His-
Wait.
Yes.
But here's the thing: if
After
Guy died
being-
and Rock Lee
after being
did
adopted.
Night Guy, right? Dedication to Mike Guy. He's like, yo, he showed me this. I never got to use it because it would kill me. But you know, Mike Guy, this for you. It hit one of them. I wouldn't be mad, but I prefer Mike Guy. I don't know why. I just do.
I prefer him too, but I'm like, if
Love
somebody gotta go, I'm like, I could see that as like, as soon as he gets acknowledged by Madara, he's like, oh, you were the strongest, and he's like, that's right, and then his heart stops or something. And it's like, oh, yeah, like if that would have happened, like no, and that's that like the pivoting point of it.
Yeah.
But no, I'm not gonna lie though, my guy is probably my favorite character in the series. That
See?
is my inspiration, dude. That is my gym inspiration all the time. He's like, in the off chance that you perish, I'll die with you. I'm like, that is dad. Are you serious? Like everybody need a mentor like that. That is inspiration. He literally he's like, from the moment you became my mentor, like I mean like my student, I be like, your life is mine. Like that is like my whole dedication is making you a better ninja. And he
Facts.
proved it so much. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, I love everything he did for Lee, but they should have just made him an alien from the moon too at the end.
Yo, Night Guy's a moon technique. What?
That power.
Night Guy.
But yeah, no,
Okay.
I feel that. I vibe with that. That made a lot of people in the series mad because it just made this like, it ruined a whole lot of the build that they were getting. If Madara's the big bad, let him be the big bad. You feel me? But I'm pretty sure they did it for like Boruto and stuff like that, or continuation purposes. Because then you leave like a whole like, oh, are there more moon people? And apparently there was
Yes, it was.
a lot of them.
Moon people.
Yeah, no, good topics, guys. I definitely got to check out Fight Club. I wrote that down.
Yeah, do it.
Yes, please.
I definitely got to do the next couple sets of Black Clovers. What I got to do?
Don't worry, I'll do it for you and just give you the spoilers the same way you did for me.
I'm still gonna be happy.
Yeah.
All right, bet. So, for time reasons, we're gonna slide past the news. There wasn't much to give anyway. Most of it was just funny shit. But how was everybody's week?
Excuse me?
Fuck your
So
ears,
how was
dog.
the week?
Yeah.
No.
No, she usually does like Disney ears, but she's been like lackluster with them, so I don't want to see them.
No, these are my favorite ears from the Eats collection. I told y'all this last week. I'm really excited to show you guys excellence.
These better be a 10.
They
Nate,
are. They are a 10.
If you
promise
can't
you.
tell, she
Like-
collects ears. This is only
Yeah.
a fraction of the amount
Yeah.
she has. She has a room
Right,
full
right.
of them.
Quite literally.
Ooh, okay, fancy.
So the part we've been on is the Disney Eats collection. It came out last year, so each ear has been based off of a different food. September was candy apples, and these ears are so stinking cute. Like I got so many compliments on them when I had them on in the park too. So this is what they look like. Oh, this is the back. Sorry. This is what they look
Oh,
like.
okay.
And they're like Mickey candy apples. And if you've ever been to Disney World or if you ever go, you can watch them make the decorated candy apples. So you'll watch them dip it. They put, like, if they're doing Mickey, you'll see them put the buttons on and they make the ears. Like, you can watch these be made. And, like, they have a stick. So, like, you know it's a candy apple. These are so cute. They have the Disney Eats tag on the side. I love these ears. These are my favorite ears from the collection, like, by far.
Here's why they're
Awesome.
not
Nice.
my favorite.
Wait. And the actual candy apples, what do they use to make the ears?
Cookies. Usually, it's like a cookie. They dip a cookie in chocolate, and then they like it's like cut, and then they sit it on the apple, and then
Okay.
they dip the whole apple, and it's like a full chocolate. It's so
Diabetes.
and they have marshmallows. Yeah, like those things are deadly. Don't buy one. You
Here's
will-
why I hate these ears. They don't have nuts. Good candy apples have nuts, damn it.
these these aren't that kind of candy apple.
Yeah, no.
Obviously, obviously, it's not that kind of candy apple.
Apparently, it's the bad kind.
It's the best.
I will say that I don't like the material. I feel like they got more creative because you have some ears with like some creative material to make them.
Yeah, these are like just leather. They're all like different
Yeah.
types of leather.
Yeah, but I mean it's a nice little design. Not my favorite in the Eats collection. I will have to figure that out when I edit all of your ears into one video.
I give it a
Okay.
6. Maybe if it had
A
nuts as a
6?
texture, you like it.
Oh, Greg,
Where do you where do you get the ears from? Like from Disney himself, or is it like a
Yeah, so
specialty?
I'm located in Orlando, so I go
Nice,
to
yeah.
Disney World often. So yeah,
At least
I
twice a
go
week.
on there. Once
awesome.
a week.
Twice. But yeah,
Yeah.
she has all the Disney stuff. She's our resident Disney dick sucker.
That's not what I am. That's not true. Don't believe him.
She's a resident Disney Orlando native. We are 2 time zones, 3 cities. That is what it
Hey.
should be. Yeah.
You know, we
Baltimore,
started in Baltimore, but you know, things
Yeah.
change.
Yeah.
Things change.
Thinking about rebranding? Hmm?
No.
So fucking what? 3 time zones, 2 city podcasts?
Ew.
I mean, somebody's gonna be intrigued. Somebody's gonna be intrigued. Like, what would they even be talking about?
Like, what the hell's going on in
We
this
talk
one?
about travel. They're gonna think we talk about.
They're gonna think we talk about travel in no.
Yeah. Let's talk about
But-
traveling to the Shade Kingdom.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. But let's get into weeks. Nate, how's your week been?
It's been pretty chill. Just getting ready. Blurred Con is going to be next week, so a lot of prepping for that. Getting things together. Shout out to anybody who's going to be out there. It's going to be my first year going as well. Last year I was invited, but you know, COVID, the flu, all this sickness season. So unfortunately, it was a tight one. But big excited for it this year. Got a couple group shoots with people. I'm going to be hosting one of the One Piece shoots. And I got a couple people ask me to do some solo one, so excited to see what people come out with, you know.
I'm debating if I'm gonna go for just Saturday, cause it's
Hmm.
only a state away. It's like an hour and some change drive. So I was like, I could drive up there, find parking, go for the day, come back home. But I don't know if I
Mhm.
want to, cause I don't like the theme this year. It's Halloween theme, by the way, Diva. But I don't like the theme this year. So I was like,
I
Crispy.
like that.
I know you do. But I was like, but it would be nice to go, just to go see some people, meet some people, some.
Mm-hmm.
For
After missing
me,
out last year, I told myself I definitely got to.
I got to. Everybody keeps telling me it's so lit.
Just
Mhm.
for one time, for one day.
I might just go for Saturday. I'm not doing anything. All right. So for me, this week has been pretty chill. Been behind, get a little overwhelmed with some stuff. I have so many projects at one time, and I'm trying to catch up, as well as Marvel Rivals pissing me the fuck off. I had the hardest backslide this past week. Went all the
Oh,
way from
no.
Diamond 2 to Platinum 2, so that doesn't feel good.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
I'm almost Platinum 3, actually. I'm in the negatives of Platinum 2. So I'm basically Plat 3. That being said, hopefully we'll have, major pullback for some major give back. But for the most part, everything's been slow, but a lot. Because I got so many things to do on top of each other. But I'm starting to chip away at them, so that's good.
Well, Diva?
This week has been pretty good. Other than me losing my voice, the weekend was great. I did a solo Disney day. I just went to Hollywood Studios like around 3:30, 4 o'clock, and I just did all the shows there, which was really nice. And that's really about it. I'm a little behind on my editing. Sorry, guys. But I'll get the stuff out.
Hey. Yeah. This week has been interesting. I'm trying to get back into the groove, but things are finally warming up here in Texas, so I'm trying to get back into my rhythm. Conventions are coming up that I want to go to because I'm not gonna hit all the ones I went to this year, sadly. But it is what it is. I need to finish working on or starting things like this weekend. What I've been doing is taking quick dry plastics, and I've been trying to cast a nose for a certain character. Um, and I feel like that's gonna be fun, but it's hard to get it down. But I decided that depending on what I'm doing gym wise for the rest of the I want to say the spring into summer, I'm either gonna go pre time skip or post time skip. But I need to make those decisions a lot sooner.
Get in the gym.
I'm started working out in heat. I'm telling you now, I'm trying to get right for this cosplay. I am. I really am.
I still have to finish more. I got the leather to make the little neck thing. I just have to figure out how to put it all together.
I gotta buy a couple things for mine, but yeah, I'm planning on doing Asta one of the days at DreamCon this year. So I'm getting all that together.
Ooh,
I'm
okay.
not sure how I'm gonna do the sword. I think I might just do Demon Slasher. And then like get a katana, maybe change some of the parts out and like paint it black. But we'll see. We'll see.
Hmm.
In the worst case, it'll be there. You can just grab it.
Exactly. So like I'm not bugging about it by any means. One fun thing I was gonna do was take a penny board and take like cardboard and stuff and put it over the penny board for Demon Slayer. Yeah, Demon Slayer, the big one, and just ride that around like how he does after post time skip.
Nice, smart.
That'd be cool.
But yeah, I guess that's weeks.
We did
That's
it.
weeks, man.
Yeah.
That's
We
the
did it.
fun.
Another
Right.
great and successful pod. Want to thank everybody for being here, coming out. Be sure to like, rate, subscribe, follow the podcast on all social media platforms, including YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Blue Sky, everywhere where you can find us, everywhere you can think. Follow the podcast at Bmore Nerdy on all platforms, including the ones I just said. Follow myself at Mr. Space Wait for my personals and Galaxy Greg _ for anything podcast or gaming content related. I'm going to hand it off to the guest so he can give himself away, get himself out of here.
It's been a pleasure getting the chance to, be on the podcast. Thank you guys for having me. It's been an awesome conversation, getting a chat. You got some good ideas for new movies and things to be talking about between all of us,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
and I'm definitely looking forward to running into you guys at a future convention. Definitely if you want to pop out to BlurredCon, I'm going to be out there, and I'll definitely be at DreamCon. I already got my press acceptance for that, so I'm
Yay.
100% trying to see as many people as I can, trying to support.
Facts. All right. Well, I
Can't
gotta
wait to see you.
I gotta start doing press stuffs to go places, but that's a whole nother conversation for another day. Diva, you're up.
What it is, little dummies? It's your girl, Diva
Mhm.
XOXO. You can follow me on Instagram at the Diva XOXO. It's where you'll find all of my stuff. Videos are delayed due to my voice, so maybe next week we'll see. Um, make sure to comment below what plot twist blew your mind. We want to hear from you guys. Heat.
Yeah, or any new ideas. Yeah. So Heed HDTV. You can find me at I'm HDTV or honestly _ Heed. They both have content to be out there randomly. And if you don't know by now, I have been doing weekly movie reviews for whatever's
all
in
right.
here. I do quizzes on Friday,
So
and
pissed.
then I put out the review hopefully Saturday or Sunday, depending on time. Everybody's busy, and making those videos takes effort. I haven't put as much effort as I want to in them, but I will once I find a balance, hopefully. Trust me, I'm trying to get like things flying across the screen when I'm talking, but we'll get to it.
You're
But
Yeah, you're killing it. The last one was really good.
Mhm.
oh,
For a
I'm
movie you
scared
told
of-
me you weren't gonna see.
Well, I literally went to the theater and like everything sucked. Everything sucks. So I'm like, I have to see Captain America. Everything else relatively sucks.
I was like, he went to see Captain America.
Just wait
Everything
until
on that
next
list
month. All the good
sucked.
shit is coming out next month. I can't wait to see Novocaine. That movie's gonna be
Exactly.
fucking hilarious.
Exactly.
Ooh.
I'm so excited for March movies. I'm tired of February. It's been a bunch of horror movies that aren't horror, that aren't good or not terrible. Whatever. Anyways, yeah, stay tuned.
But that being said, we are the Be More Nerdy podcast, and remember to be more nerds. Have a great week and peace.
We out here.
Dang.